Alrighty, we're back. Oh yeah. And right behind me, I don't know if you can see, but there's a dude down here flying a remote control plane. And it's funny because I drove myself down here today with a bit of an idea what I was going to speak into. And then I set up the camera, sat down, had a couple of sips of bone broth, and just started watching this dude do his thing. And it was so in alignment with what I'm going to speak into today. And that is, how are you uniquely you? How are you different? And who are you at your core? And this is just so perfect because I can't imagine this dude is looking at others and thinking, what's the coolest thing to do? Who's the coolest person? And how can I be them? Just to try and fit a mold, just to be liked. He's just doing his thing. And I believe it's such an important conversation to have, and really a question for you to ask yourself. How are you uniquely you? How are you different? And who are you at your core? And there's a question that I've started asking people, and that is, without any labels, relationship status, work status, who are you at your core? And it's a deep question, and it's a hard one to ask. And for me, it always changes. And right now, I'm a curious being seeking the ultimate human experience with a deep desire to be the student of life and to teach through my experiences. Oh, there it goes. I don't know if you've seen that. It's so cool. Hopefully, you see it in the camera. But anyway, it's a deep question, and it's something I invite you to sit with. And I think what we're really speaking about here is authenticity. How can you show up as your most authentic self? How can you let yourself be you? And I believe the first thing that we need to detach from is being liked. Because I feel like we're living a life through projection of what others will think of me, projection of how it's going to look, how I'm going to look. What if people don't like me? What if it's not cool? So what? Because there's a reality that exists that maybe you're not cool. Maybe I'm not cool. But I'm not trying to be cool. I just am allowing myself to be me. But I haven't always been like that. I've always felt like I was like that. I always thought I was being my most authentic self. But for a long time, I was sitting in the people pleaser archetype. And I think it's so common to be there. I've been there, and at times, truthfully, I still feel like there's parts of me that's showing up in that archetype. But it's funny because one of the reasons I started these videos is to allow myself to express myself fully. And for me to share my thoughts, share my truth, share my language, and express my deepest, most aligned authenticity that's true to me. And what a beautiful thing to sit here on the beach and just speak, just talk. Unedited, unfiltered, completely raw. Just allowing myself to express with no attachment to the outcome. No attachment to whether or not you're going to like it, everyone's going to like it, or even anyone are going to like these videos. But it's not why I'm doing them. And I, hand on my heart, believe every single time I've had the opportunity to do these videos, I've allowed more of my authentic self to shine through. And it feels so good. And even down to the clothes that I wear. Blue jeans, loose party shirts, growing the beard, the necklace, the shell earring. It's what feels right for me. And there's no reference. There's no comparison to what everyone else is doing, so I'll do that. It's just what feels good for me. Right down to me bringing the Tao Te Ching down here. I just love how it looks in the videos. I love the aesthetics of it. Drinking the tea, drinking the bone broth, lighting the incense. It's a full display of who I am. And you don't necessarily need to be yourself on a platform, express yourself on a platform. If anything, you just need to do it for you. And not to let the external environment change who you are. If you're at home, you show up as your most authentic self. If you're in your workplace, friendship groups, or you are expressing yourself on any media platform, nothing changes. And I had a beautiful conversation with one of my clients about 2 weeks ago, and she's recently moved overseas, and she has been quite isolated for a couple of years because of the job that she's chosen. And she had an opportunity to meet with her closest friends overseas, and she was worried that the person that she was turning into, and that's including her new values, her new perception of life, the way she thinks, the way she languages things, her vision, her new career path, all of that. She was worried that meeting up with her old friends and the new version that she was becoming, she was worried that it wasn't going to be received because she wasn't the old version of her. And so therefore, she felt a little bit nervous and in a little bit of a contraction to express herself because there was a bit of a worry of whether or not it will be received and they will like it. I said, this is the perfect opportunity for you to express yourself. Because at the end of the day, if they're your true friends, they will love you no matter what direction you take, no matter what language you speak, no matter what your values are, no matter what you look like, no matter what you wear, no matter how you speak, no matter how you show up. They will love you for who you are at your core. And there was some nerves, and that was okay. And she stepped into it. She fully embodied herself in that moment. And it was received with love. It was received with love. And that's how she mentioned it to me. Like, it couldn't have gone any better. And then it shattered the fear. And now, if anything, it's not created validation, but solidified that no matter what, just be you. Because that's all we have. And this is why I believe people can never find themselves and who they truly are at their core, because they're living in a world of projection. And projection causes limitation. It keeps us small. It keeps us in a contraction. And then we're always wearing masks. Wherever we go, we're wearing masks. Masks to fit in. Masks to people please. Because it's easier to lie and to fake who you truly are to be liked than it is to not give a fuck and express yourself for the chance to not be liked. But the more we can be okay with not being liked, the more we'll find ourself. We'll know thyself. We'll know who we truly are and how we desire to express. I haven't had a bone broth out here yet. I put some beef ribs on this morning. They've been slow cooking for about 8 hours so far, so really looking forward to sinking my teeth into them when I get home tonight. So before I left, I scooped a little bit of broth out of the slow cooker, mixed it with a little bit of Jevity lemon and herb bone broth, and it's delicious. Authenticity. You know when you see those people and you just know that how they're expressing themselves is them. It's so magnetic. It's so powerful and beautiful to see. But it's rare. I believe it's rare. And I am allowing myself to continue to express myself, but I know I've only got more to give. I've only got more to be. I've only got higher levels of consciousness to expand into. And I believe where it starts is you expressing yourself fully, you being uniquely you being different. I mean, I don't know how many people are in the world, 8 billion or maybe more. But there's only one you. And you don't have to go out of your way to be different just for the sake of being different if that's not your thing. But you have to sit with yourself away from all the distractions and ask yourself that question: who am I? And how do I desire to be, express, create? All the way down to, how do you like to dress? What music do you like to listen to? What are your hobbies? Not because this person's doing it or that person's doing it, because you have a deep curiosity, and you know that's on brand for you. You know that's deeply aligned to who you are. And something I quite often think about is like, in this modern world that we live in, and because we're all on social media platforms, it's so easy to look at what sells, to look at what's cool, to look at what people like. You can see validation so clearly. That person's got heaps of followers, so they must be liked. So therefore, maybe I should do that. Where I remember growing up before social media came along, and if I look back on photos on when I was young, I looked like a dag. I looked so goofy. But here's the cool thing. I was only wearing what I thought was cool in that moment. I remember I had bright blue t-shirts on, those white big lens Oakley Sunnies, blonde spiky hair, a shell necklace, and I look back on photos and I cringe. But I love it because I was like, just being me. We don't have that now. I believe the youth these days don't have the opportunity, or they have the opportunity, but they don't go through that goofy stage, that daggy stage. Because kids that are from 9 years old to 15 are all on social media looking at what's cool. So you're seeing young kids walk around these days, and I'm like, man, these kids look too cool. They don't look daggy at all. And I believe that can be scary, because it's not allowing you to actually try on what you feel looks cool, not what actually looks cool and what everyone else is liking. And you need to go through that daggy stage. I'll probably look back on what I'm wearing now in 10 years being like, oh, man, that was so daggy. But this is what I love in this moment. I never thought I was going to wear a bright green t-shirt, but I tried it on one day and I was like, yeah, that's sick. I'm wearing that and I'm going to rock that. And remember, what I'm speaking into here doesn't have to be about your appearance, but who are you at your core? How do you desire to fully express yourself in this world? And that is going to be your power, your magnetism. People are going to be drawn to you only if it's in alignment and it's your deepest truth and you're expressing yourself fully. Because if you're not, and you're attracting people in from a place of misalignment because you're not fully expressing yourself, but people see that you are, but it's not your actual truth, they'll be drawn to you, but then you're only drawing in more misalignment. Whether it be friendships, relationships, careers, whatever it might be, you think you're in alignment, but really you're lying to yourself, and then you're actually attracting in misalignment because you're out of alignment. The sun is literally about to fall behind the mountains, so I'm almost out of light here. And it's funny because I've had people reach out mainly through the lens of Instagram. I mean, every now and then I still check that platform for messages, because if people are trying to reach out, I do want to honor that by letting them know where I'm really hanging out. And I get so many messages about people wanting to edit my reels. And like I was saying at the start of this video, I don't want that. I want there to be mistakes in this. I want the ums and ahs to shine through, the mispronunciations of words. I don't want these videos to be perfect. And it's so funny because every single time I finish a video, I think, man, that could have gone one of 1,000 ways, if not more. But I am going to honor what came through me in that moment, and I'm going to upload it anyway. Because again, I'm not attached to the outcome. I'm not attached to how it's going to look or how it's going to be received. Because if someone doesn't like it, that's on them. If it's not perfect, that's just your projection of it. I know it's not perfect because there's no such thing, but I know what you're getting right now is the realest version of me. Can this be an invitation for you from this moment onwards to show up authentically, to express yourself fully, to create freely, to speak your deepest truth, to not care about what others think of you, to be okay with not being liked, to be a dag, to be a goof, to fly planes if that's your thing. Whatever it is, you have a beautiful opportunity to embody who you are. That's all we have. And once you start showing up in the world authentically, you'll start to see the world differently. Because you'll start to see the world as who you truly are. The moment that you're not authentic to your truth and who you are is when you'll start to see the world differently, because you're not really who you are. One of the biggest things that shifted for me was the moment I became a father, or the moment I even found out I was going to be a father. I'm like, I see things so differently. It's almost like what happened was someone just gave me a completely different set of lens to try on once I found out, and I started looking through those lenses and I was like, oh my God, I haven't seen it like this before. I'm not saying you have to become a parent to have a paradigm shift or have a perspective shift, but it was a big moment in time for me. But you can choose that reality right now by choosing to be you. Be different, be unique. This is it. This is the human experience right here. Another thing to think about is like nature. Like that tree's not trying to be a tree. Dogs aren't trying to be dogs. Birds aren't thinking about what other birds think of how they're flying. They just are. They're just a full expression of consciousness, of self. And I love that. And nature's beautiful as it is. That tree is there and it's perfect, but it doesn't look like that tree. It's slightly different. It's not trying to fit in with everyone else. But that's what makes nature so unique, so different, so beautiful, because it just is. Let's rip the lid off. Let's live the human experience. Let's have fun. Be you. Be different. Be unique. Big love. Peace.